The Boundary Waters Canoe Area is one of the most protected and beloved natural spaces in the United States. Yet it remains at the center of an ongoing debate. The conflict surrounding the Boundary Waters goes beyond politics. It reflects questions about identity, responsibility, and what communities choose to protect. According to the U.S. Forest Service, the Boundary Waters is the most visited wilderness area in the country, with more than 150,000 people exploring it each year. This popularity highlights its national importance, but it also brings increased pressure and vulnerability. Federal reports note that rising visitation and nearby industrial interests pose growing risks to the ecosystem. One of the most significant threats to the Boundary Waters comes from proposed copper and nickel mining projects near the watershed. Supporters of these projects point to potential economic benefits. A University of Minnesota Duluth economic report suggests that a single mine could generate millions in local revenue and create much-needed jobs in northern Minnesota. Environmental research, however, paints a different picture. Friends of the Boundary Waters highlights that sulfide ore mining has a 100% failure rate in preventing water contamination. Case studies from Montana, Wisconsin, and South Dakota show repeated patterns of toxic runoff entering surrounding ecosystems. In a region like the Boundary Waters, where lakes and rivers are deeply interconnected, even one spill could spread across hundreds of waterways. The contrast between economic projections and environmental warnings reveals the complexity of the issue. Economic reports emphasize short-term job creation, while environmental organizations focus on long-term ecological damage. A 2022 study from the Harvard School of Public Health adds another layer, showing that environmental degradation often costs communities more over time than the economic gains from the extraction. Cleanup efforts, health impacts, and losses in tourism frequently outweigh the revenue generated by mining. Taken together, these sources show that the debate is not simply jobs versus nature. It is a question of long-term sustainability versus short-term economic gain, and what kind of future northern Minnesota envisions for itself. For many Minnesotans, like myself, the Boundary Waters represents more than a recreational area. It is one of the last remaining examples of untouched wilderness in the United States. Once damaged, a place like this cannot be restored. The Forest Service notes that the region's water system has no natural filtration, meaning contamination would spread quickly and be extremely difficult to reverse. This makes environmental risks not hypothetical, but structural and long-lasting. When the research is viewed together, federal data, environmental case studies, and economic projections, a clear pattern emerges. The economic benefits of mining are temporary and uncertain, while the environmental risks are permanent and well documented. And the cultural and ecological value of the Boundary Waters cannot be measured in money. Protecting the Boundary Waters is not only an environmental stance, it is a commitment to future generations and a recognition that some places are too important to gamble with. Minnesota's identity is deeply tied to its natural landscapes, and the Boundary Waters stands as one of the most significant. The Boundary Waters has endured for thousands of years. Its future depends on the choices we make today. After examining the research, history, and the stakes, the path forward becomes clearer. This wilderness is worth protecting.